To first off, the bill we heard yesterday, Senate Bill 98. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 98 provides for a new distinctive license plate, which would be the Route 66 Association of Kansas license plate. The plate would be subject to the customary $250 initial plate commitment and a payment of up to $5,000 in development costs, as are statutory requirements for distinctive plates. There'd be an annual logo use royalty payment fee, an amount of $25 up to $100 to be determined by the Route 66 Association of Kansas, where such fees would then go towards. And with that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Committee, any questions for Adam? When we heard yesterday online. Committee, what's your pleasure on this bill? Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we move out favorably and put on the consent calendar.
I think the sponsor may have wanted to carry it. I'm not 100% for sure.
Oh, Senator Schallenberger?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you decide the motion.
If you would mind withdrawing, I'd rather go regular route just to be sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will withdraw my motion and just make it a motion to pass out favorably.
It's been moved, seconded by Senator Clays. Moved by Senator Tyson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Bill's moving out to the floor. Favorable recommendation. Now I'd like to turn our attention to one a little more tough. 97, Senate Bill 97. Adam, you want to give us a briefing?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 97 would grant purchasers of non-highway vehicles the option to obtain a non-highway certificate of title. Non-highway vehicles are currently exempt from registration under Kansas law. However, such vehicles are required to obtain a non-highway certificate of title upon the sale or transfer of such vehicle within the county where such person resides. Under the current language of Senate Bill 97, this would be an optional, so the people would have the option to obtain a certificate of title rather than be required to.
Just to let you know, the proponents and revenue and Senator Bowers spent quite a bit of time down in a conference room discussing this and back and forth. I went down there for about an hour. And I believe there's an amendment coming, so Senator Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment, and Adam has it. And what the chairman said is exactly true. I knew there was an answer here in the middle, and we have revenue's blessing on this as well, so we think we have a solution. And I've asked Adam if he would go over it with us after we all have it. Thank you, Adam, for doing that.
Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you're looking through the amendment, most of the strikeouts and reinserts are just returning the language how it currently exists, requiring non-highway certificate of titles for most purchasers. Really, the substantive change from current law would be box 1 on the right-hand side, which would allow dealers of non-highway vehicles that are all-terrain vehicles, worksite utility vehicles, recreational off-highway vehicles, or motorcycles that would qualify for a non-highway vehicle. These vehicles would be required to, or the dealers would be required to obtain a dealer inventory only title rather than a non-highway certificate of title when the dealer obtains such used vehicle. This would not be for new vehicles they purchase, but for used vehicles. They'd be required to pay a fee of $10, and that such money would be remitted as the current ways of certificate of titles. Under the bill, Section 2 would just be removed, which just basically means it reverts back to current law. It's not deleting that statutory section. It's just removing it from the bill, which then means current law would remain, where dealers would essentially be required to, if audited or to require to produce such titles if revenue would come in and to review their books, essentially, which these titles should qualify as.
And I think it makes it very clear in box 1 of the exact vehicles or the units that are being defined to get this dealer-only title, where before there was different, they weren't all together in one place, so, and some were exempt. So now they're all together, which is very clear to a dealer like Senator Owen, so he knows exactly what he's dealing with. And they have to take in a bill of sale that's signed. So there's proof from the dealer that's signed by the previous owner and the dealer to get this title. So I'll make the motion to adopt this amendment.
Further discussion. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the box that we're dealing with on page 1 of the amendment, and there's a definition of non-highway vehicle in KSA 8-197. I don't have that pulled up in front of me, but does that list the same vehicles that's in the box here? An all-terrain vehicle, a worksite utility vehicle, recreational off-highway vehicle, or motorcycle? I guess that's a question for the revisor.
I believe it's limited to just those vehicles ahead of it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This would be a smaller subset of that definition. You're correct. The definition under 8-197 is more expansive. That includes any motor vehicle which cannot be registered because it's manufactured for the purpose of using the same on the highway of the state and is not provided with the equipment required by the state statute for vehicles. So essentially, that's a much more expansive definition of non-highway vehicle under 8-197. It also includes micro utility trucks, which would not be included under this definition, and travel trailers. So there, under 8-197, there would be much more expansive numbers of vehicles than would be allowed under this kind of much more limited director inventory only title provision.
Thank you. So the definition in the bill, if this were to be an amendment added to it, is more narrow than what's in 8-197. Thanks for explaining that. Appreciate the clarification. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Committee, further questions, comments? Seeing none. We had a motion, we've got a second. All those in favor of amending this bill, signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. We're back on the bill. Committee, what's your pleasure? Senator Cluse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That we would pass out Senate Bill 97 as amended favorably from the committee.
You've heard the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Otterbright. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Another bill moving out favorably. Committee, I know there's some people who are needing to leave to go to other committees to testify, but we do have more work, but that'll be the end of our votes for today. We will not meet tomorrow. Monday we'll be meeting on call the chair, and we'll decide that later this afternoon. With that, Jill, you have a handout for us that you worked on the treasurer's bill? I got one out. Yes.
Did we ever get the financial information from Department of Revenue?
We have not got it yet. I'm hoping this bill might wind up going to Ways and Means, but I'm just trying to get the information. Out as soon as I get it. Go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. In the discussion on Senate Bill 119 regarding revenues to the county treasurers for use in theirs, in that special fund that they were talking about, this handout attempts to provide some of the history of the fees that were included and mentioned in that bill that would be increased or not, redirected, I think is more the word, yeah. So, for example, the application fee in that very first sentence for basically vehicle registration from 75 cents, the bill proposes 5.75. That 75 cents was last changed in 1978. The license application refers to registration fees, and those are listed over on the right there. There's a category in the bill that's printed in the bill that is not to be amended. Those are amounts for the quantity of registrations. As noted, those have not been amended since 2006. And then there are a few other fees in the statutes that are directed to that specific county treasurer fund for this use, and the histories of those fees are at the bottom. Be happy to try to answer questions.
Committee questions? Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for this chart. When it says proposed by a bill or proposed by?
Senate Bill 119.
It's in 119. Okay, thank you.
Committee, further questions? Senator Clays.
Well, I just started looking at this, so I'm noticing that we have another column over here that goes all the way down to some of them like in 1968. Is that one not going to get moved up? Are we not considering that to be proposed for a change?
Correct, not in this round. There have been,
It's like that $2.50 one in 1968. I put it in an inflation calculator. That's $22.82 today. That's a pretty significant change if we were to adjust it for inflation, just for example.
yeah, that's for when the sheriff repossesses your license plate. Apparently, that doesn't happen very often, but no, that fee has not been changed in the statutes.
Okay. Are we considering that, I guess? I'm not sure what's
We're-
happening now.
This is just information. It was provided. Jill got to us to provide for more information.
Okay.
I'm hoping this bill winds up going to Ways and Means, but I don't know that it will, so just wanted to get information in your hands that you can be looking for and ask questions and digest in the meantime.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just another point, I'm just trying to digest all of this. I did watch it on the WebEx when some of this was discussed, but I am also somebody that's really hesitant about taking money out of the highway fund, so I think that the fee increase makes a lot more sense, especially since they're not adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to take it out of the highway fund also. We're looking for a solution, and that's what we're trying to get to. Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the second opportunity. So proposed in the bill, these are not fee increases that would be imposed on Kansans when they go to register or for a license application or for a certificate of title, correct?
Correct.
This just changes once the license application is made, once the certificate of title application is paid by the person seeking the license or the certificate of title, just where the money is going to be directed, whether it's to the Department of Transportation, to the treasurer of the state. So because that's all the bill's doing. It's not increasing fees to the sort of the end user, right?
That is correct.
Okay, it's just where's the money being sent to? So thanks for that clarification again, appreciate it.
If I may.
Yes.
The treasurers have proposed changes to their compensation in at least 4 different bills over the past 8 years. One version of those bills would have increased title fees, but then taken out a bunch of tiny fees like the $1, the 75 cents that show up. There was, and that's a very long list with some very old numbers in it. There was different versions that would have done it different ways, but they have tried at least 3 different takes on this.
Senator Clays.
Well, I apologize if I'm out of order because I'm new to this, but my question, I guess, since I have to ask a question, is would it be possible for us to just, at the last meeting there was a discussion where there's an online method where you can pay these, and a lot of the issue is people coming in. Down in Wichita, we had a satellite tag office, and you got charged extra for going to it. I think it was like $8 or $10 maybe to help support that. I just wonder if all offices should have, if you're not going to do it online, have that kind of fee. Anyway, that's just my thought on this.
In Wichita now, you can only go to a satellite office and they all charge the $5. Seeing no further questions, Jill, thank you for the information. Sorry to put you on the spot like that. Committee, I just try and get this information out to you and let you know. Eventually, it will come up onto committee documents. However, it is, my assistant just got back today, so I'm glad to have her back, and we'll catch up. Yes, you may. Senator Dietrich.
Senator Peterson. So, I mean, you said this earlier, and I just wanted to reiterate that I totally agree that there's an issue here, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the best solution is, but I do think the treasurers have a point. And some of these fees and bills and the structure have gone back, almost longer than we are old. So I think, it probably does, I think, raise that level of urgency. There's an issue, there's a funding stream issue, there's a fee issue. I just don't think we're playing fair with our treasurers until we address this at some point in some way. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. We're trying to come up with a solution. Further questions, comments? Committee, once again, we will watch your emails or the calendar for notices. I do not plan on meeting tomorrow. Monday is going to be on call of the chair. So that call will be made fairly quickly, but I don't know that right now. With that, we are adjourned.